Welcome to the top 8 and grand finale of the Meta Weekly every single week. By watching as long as you can, even if I'm on in the background, that greatly supports this video. Liking, commenting, subscribing, doing all that stuff for the algorithm. Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Labrynth versus Super Heavy Samurai. We are discarding with the Chandelier. Gamma negate. That's wild. Okay. Negate the activation of the Chandelier, and because you negate the activation, how do we get Lady on the fields? If you activate and you negate the activation, how do you summon the Lady? That screwed up everything. We have Daruma to flip the whole field face down. Do we do so on the equip of the Soul Piercer? Do we just wait? We just wait for the link. I mean, we could wait for the link to go to the graveyard, right? You could wait for the discard because the Daruma will send it on the activation, and then it no longer has a link arrow to summon the monster you're discarding. This is ideal. Wait for the discard. All right, send Get Searching. If you wanted to use it, you could use it right here. No, we're waiting. We're waiting for like the full field. We're waiting right before the Baron to floor. When you're about to summon that Baron to floor, the Excel Start a Synchro, that's when we're doing it. We did it. All right. Lady summonable because we activated a trap. Big welcome banished by the DD Crow before activatable. That's pretty good. Okay. Now, what we could have done is we could have used the big welcome to spin a card back while we have Lady on the field, which we could not do because the DD Crow, which would trigger the Chandelier to add itself back to the hand, which we would discard Nibiru to then set up another big welcome for next turn. So that DD Crow, beautifully done. Well, Lady's just going beatdown mode. Just a literal Blue Eyes White Dragon, no effects whatsoever. It's targetable, it is destroyable, vanilla. You can search the Banki, not using Ash on that. The booster is an extender here. You have Scarecrow number 2. This is the final copy of Scarecrow for many Super Heavy Sam players. Wagon on summon, going to D, then activating the search. We are not ashing that, grabbing the Soul Piercer. Booster going to boost itself onto the field here, and we have already used up our normal summon. We are going to go into Sargass. Sargass into the Therion. We still don't have an out to 3,000 attack, though. Nibiru the entire field before searching for the Therion. Yeah, I guess we had to do that. We had to do that. 4,400 defense token. How do we deal with that? We have the Dragonite's Prison, which could special summon a monster, a rock. Do we have a rock? The like machine. It's all machine. No rock, nothing's a rock. Okay. The site's negated if we were to summon it. It does not then activate. But we could banish the Soul Piercer on summon. Piercer for Piercer, double banish. Triggering the Chandelier. DD Crow to stop the Chandelier. DD Crow putting in so much work this duel. Very nice. Getting rid of that Chandelier. 5,800 attack token we gave the opponent, and we don't have an out. We have no way to out it. We have no big welcome in the grave. Impermanence dead. Following up with the L set. And just the unrelenting one-card combo every single turn attempting it. Wakashi cannot special summon itself onto the field if we have another Pendulum Scale. Kashi from the extra. Imperm Column. Let's go. Negate the Benki. We have not committed to a normal summon yet. Peacemaker equip. Now, if Peacemaker is activated in the Imperm Column and then it leaves the field on activation, is it negated? Yes, it is. It's still negated. Come forward scale. Oh, that's the scoop. Let's hop into game number 2. Lot of E, we got the Droll, but we don't care if we get Drolled. We have the Stovian Chandelier, which could set the cards directly from our deck onto the field. We're not searching anyway. We're fine. Perfectly fine. We have Welcome, Big Welcome, triggering the clock to summon itself onto the field. Activating the Big Welcome to summon from the deck our Lovely, returning back the clock, triggering the Lovely to pop a card from the hand, triggering the Chandelier and Stovey to summon onto the field and add back to the hand. beautiful turn in a format where Max, C, and Droll are the top 2 cards to be playing. Labrynth doesn't lose to either, but they do lose to Ashe. But Lovely counters Ashe. You cannot Ashe a big welcome if Lovely's on the field. Setting up again, we have the Labrynth, which will ensure that we can pop any card in the field non-targeting. This is crazy. We have pop a card. We could set any trap from the deck and make it activatable that turn. We have send a card in the field to the grave, which we could wait for the Scarecrow to activate, send it to the graveyard, as we were talking about Ghost Ogre stopping effects. Tons of disruption. There's no way we're playing through this. So we have about 4 disruption. Kushi is here. Welcome, Labrynth's going to be summoning from the deck, using the field spell to pop the Wakushi. Again, you should wait for the activation of the effect if that's what we were planning on doing. All right, very well done. Let's hop into game number 3. Well, we have Max C, and we respected the Gamma by not activating it while they had no monster in the field. Would we have respected the Gamma if there was a Wakashi play? Maybe we would have not. Grab the booster. Booster, you know, it would be draw to Baguska, which is not so good against Labrynth. But if you are in a do or die situation against maybe a mirror match, you would probably booster special, make Baguska end, which is still not going to be that good, but it's still something. 5 Rainbow Magician. Wait, you have a set card. This is 5 Rainbow counters Super Heavy Sam because they can't set cards. They don't play spell or traps. But the dude's cheating. This would be a judge call. If you activated 5 Rainbow, they set Scythe and then go for game, you would have to call a judge, right? There's no way. This is like setting Inferni Beetle in your back row. That is funny. Clock, discard, making it so a newly set trap could be activatable that turn. Big welcome, Lovely from the hand, deck, or grave, returning back our other monster, triggering the Lovely to pop a card on the... You pop the Scythe! Well, it's actually a good play because the 5 Rainbow will ensure that your monsters cannot be activated. And there is a way to counter the 5 Rainbow despite not being able to set spell or traps, and we'll talk about it at the end of this duel. If we win or lose, well, we'll see. Let's just talk about it right now, okay? I've been mentioning this card a lot. It's the Mal Long. Long. Mal Long, level 6 Synchro. Why does this counter the 5 Rainbow? Because it is a level 6 tuner Synchro that activates in the grave. So if you're able to make a level 6 Synchro, which the deck could easily do, you then make a Baron to floor with this, and then it activates in the grave to then spin back the 5 Rainbow, and then you go in. But a lot of people are not playing it. Come forth and summon the Lady to trigger the Lovely to pop a card on the field or in the hand, also resummoning the Lady from the hand back onto the field. Very well done. Goodbye to the Scythe, not reborning anymore. You can still Sci-Frame Gear Gamma. You can activate any monster effects from the hand or graveyard. Okay. Goodbye to Ariana, destroy and summon. It just stops them for a turn, but otherwise, what are you gonna do? What is the play? What are y'all saying that they could do beyond the Mal Long? If you don't have Mal Long, it's just auto L. You can't activate or attack with monsters you control. That's just, he knows that there's nothing in the deck or extra deck that could stop that if you don't play Mal Long. And is Mal Long just for the 5-headed rainbow? I keep saying 5-headed, 5 Rainbow Magician. It's not. It's good against, just in general, I think it's pretty good going second. If this card is sent to the graveyard, target any face-up card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. It could be good against Skill Drain. It's also even not against Floodgates. Just a body on the field, Mal Long, back to the hand. That's something. I think more people should be playing Mal Long. A Dear Servant, right away locking us out of our extra deck. How good is the deck when we can't use the extra deck? Garura drawing a card for free. Alibur could search for disruption to be used during the opponent's turn. Banishing for Maximus, sending 2 extra deck monsters to the graveyard. Veiler is going to attempt to negate. Call by the Grave is going to finger the Veil, negate the negate. Now, Super Heavy Sam does not like sending cards from the extra deck. They use almost everything every duel. So what are we sending? We are going to be getting rid... Oh my gosh, I forgot. First turn kill Super Heavy Samurai is in the top 8. This is first turn kill. Aliber searching for Retribution, which will be able to negate a special summon if we have 2 branded fusions in the graveyard. I should say Albaz fusion monsters in the grave, which we do. So we have our negate. We have so much. This is nasty. Negate a special summon. We have a fusion disruption. We have a super poly disruption. We have Quem, could reborn Albaz to fuse with the opponent's field. That is the 4 plus Maxi, which is not really a disruption. Let's go. Wakashi, activate, special summon, setting up the pendulum scale, respecting the Gamma. Respect Gamma, do not Maxi early. This is where we could Baguska or go into a Zeus. Baguska's pretty good against Branded. We have Wagon grabbing the Soul Piercer, and here it is. Baguska in defense, not even going for Zeus. Everything in a defense, anything activated while in defense will be negated. If we have an Albaz, we could fuse with the Baguska. So we could add, not fuse with Albaz, summon Albaz, super poly, and it's gone. There you go. Just like that. Add, no fuse, fusion Shokan with the super poly, of course. But you know, I just said that Baguska is good against Branded. I mean, we needed 2 cards, okay? We needed Albaz and super poly to counter the Baguska. Very well done. Let's go into game 2. Let's go, let's go. We are going full combo, 1 card full combo. That is what Super Heavy Sam is known for. Let's speed this up. No disruption in sight. We are going to be boosting up the bike to make the level 7. It does have to be summoning the extra monster zone if you're going to use a Baron to floor, because we need 3 tokens. And with the 3 tokens, we target the level 13, which is being boosted at 13 from the 3 tokens. 3 tokens become 13, 13, 13, 13, 13, 13, plus level 4 equals 43. And you know the rest. Tribute to 43, lethal damage. All right. Is it okay for first turn kill to be in top 8? No, I don't think this is okay. I think that something has to be done about this, but what do we do? They already errated the Dark Strike Fighter. Would it make sense to ban it? I feel like Konami wants it to exist. Do we ban the Queen light card? Like, is there any collateral damage if we just ban this? But the problem with banning this is I feel like it makes Konami look bad. Banning something like this, it's like, we'll look incompetent by banning this. Yes, but you are. So just do it anyway. Aliber, of course, we do not ash that. We save the ash of the Branded Fusion, but the loss makes it so it cannot be negated on the activation, but the effect is what gets negated. But we have the Call by the Grave Finger to negate, banish, and finger the ash. So we are going full play. DD Crow cannot be activated here. We could very safely commit to the Albion, sending Lubellion, which does get countered by a DD Crow or a Bestial, but not here because of Lost. And if you don't protect it with Lost, you generally want a second copy of Albaz, because DD Crow, I think, is quite popular now. A lot of Super Heavy Sam players are playing it, and Bestial themselves are also popular. Banishing the Aliber and the Albaz. How do you know that you can make this play? When you have another dark monster anywhere to banish with the Albaz is when you could send the Lubellion. Lubellion on the field, discarding a fuse with the banished Albaz, making our Mirror Jade. This will trigger, well, the Lost Door was already triggered here. Come forth and summon our Lubellion. What are we setting up with Lubellion? Setting up a Branded Beast to pop a card in the field. Albion sending from the deck to the graveyard our Branded High Spirits. And very well done. You have to do this at the end of the main phase with your toggle on. As soon as you enter the end phase, you have turn player priority to activate a quick effect or a trigger effect before they could respond. And that would be the Albion to set or search for a card. So banishing at the end of the main phase with toggle on, that is ideal. Branded in high spirits, come to us. Let's go. Now, we are setting up our Wakashi. Branded Beast is... Did it wait for the activation of the effect? Yes. So, very good. Activation of the effect, chain pop it. The hard once returned, so a second copy would not be good. Fusion duplication, copying the effect of Branded Fusion, which, by the way, you can't ash this. Copying the Branded Fusion, not ashable. Summoning the Sanctifier Dragon, triggering the loss, searching for a Mercurier Monster Negate. We still have a Monster Banish, Monster Negates. We are going to reborn our Albaz, giving you the Quem to then fuse with the Quem to make what? What are we making here? Albion into what? Just Albion. Okay, that's it. Damn. Anticlimactic game 3. That was, yeah, Branded doing branded things. Master of Milk. I talked about this earlier, opening up with reinforcement. Not that we really had a choice here. This does make you more open to getting clapped by a Droll and Lockbird. We have the Imaginings, revealing a Mannadium monster, draw 2, return a card back into the deck. And Rhymeheart, due to the new support, is a 1-card full combo starter. So if you're confused with Mannadium, I think this is kind of an interesting way to look at it, just a simplified way. Vsauce Starfrost is the main card of the center. You always want this in your hand. So you're going to have 2 field spells that could search it, the main ones, not the tier limit one, but the searchable field spells like the Scareclaw and the Mannadium field spells. So Vsauce is the center. And Rhymeheart provides the balls, and the Rykart provides the arrival to reborn. So it's Rykart, arrival, Rhymeheart, balls, but one of them have to generally make a sacrifice for one of them to give you the Vsauce, because you're gonna have to, if you didn't have Vsauce and you started off with the Rhymeheart, this would search for the Vsauce instead of the Rykart. So balls and arrival are a lower priority than the Vsauce being the main search if you don't have it with one of your field spells. Now, the Rhymeheart with balls, I think, is better than the Rykart. So Rykart searching arrival is probably the lowest priority on the tier list of what you have to be searching for your combo. But for Milk Master, Master of Milk, we have both. We are going in. Excel, Stardust, Synchro, Reborn, the ball from the graveyard, making our Dissipator. Dissipator will reborn a banished monster. Trisukta reborning the Meek. Arrival reborning the Rykart. We are now going to be showconning into our Baron de Fleur. Send the ball and the Light Heart for the Cross Sheep. Perform a summon with a fusion monster, triggering the Cross Sheep to reborn a monster from the grave. Elf is going to be reborning a monster from the graveyard. Dissipator is special summoning the banished Starfrost, making the absolute unstoppable Chaos Angel. How unstoppable is it, though? We'll talk about all the ways how we can actually stop it. The Reframing can negate cards like Dark Ruler No More and a Droplet, but it cannot negate Super Polymerization. And the Chaos Angel is making our Synchro monsters unaffected from monster effects only. So Super Poly, if we could fuse with any of these monsters, it will go through. And the Masquerena cannot be destroyed by battle. Normally, Apollo USA and Masquerena, their weakness is destruction by battle, forcing out their effects early, but the Chaos Angel's protecting them from battle destruction. Baron de Fleur is an Omni-Negate, Reframing's an Omni-Negate, Dissipator is a negate or destroy in response to a monster, Masquerena links. We have about 4 public disruptions. Let's go. Super Poly, right away, fusing the Chaos Angel and the Dissipator into the Starving Venom fusion. Very well done here. Activating the Starving Venom to gain attack equal to an opposing monster, which will be the Baron de Fleur. Now, by putting Masquerena on the lower chain link, you think of it like a stack. You then stack the Elf on top of it. Elf will reborn a monster from the grave, and then Masquerena will resolve, being able to link off with the Elf and the monster we are reborning from the grave to make an Apollo USA. Generally. We are going for that Apollo USA triple monster negate. Now, the issue here is Battle Phase take out Apollo, which we just talked about being one of the main ways to stop it. We do have Reframing to negate the Starving Venom Fusion from copying the effect of Baron de Fleur. And we still have the negate of Baron de Fleur, but if you negate the thrust, you could activate another thrust. It says only one can be activated. Ash. Very well done. Ash is better than Baron in this situation. Ash does not destroy, but it negates the effect, not the activation. Thus, you cannot activate another thrust. Milkmaster playing around a second copy. Very well done. Kit searching for, oh, this is not good. Because there's a Retribution in the grave. If we negate the Branded Fusion, which I think we're kind of forced to do, actually, we probably should not negate it. They then activate it again. Same situation as the thrust. Can be activated only once. Oh, we get to see it. Yes, do not surrender. Retribution, it's public knowledge. This is not anything extra. It's not like, oh, I didn't know. It's there. It's in the grave. It's open. Add it back. Activate it again. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. We used Ash for thrust instead of the Branded Fusion. So I guess we screwed that up. Yeah. Negate thrust, they activate thrust, add Branded Fusion, you Ash the Branded Fusion, they can't reactivate it again. So we actually messed it up. We negated the wrong cards. It's a small detail, but it screwed up the entire duel. Mirror Jade is here. Negate Kit, also, would have been good. Negate the Kit. Mirror Jade, get banned. Yeah, I mean, like, we know Kit's adding Branded Fusion, and we know there's a Retribution in the grave. So we really need to do that. But it is main phase 2. So we're not in that much trouble. We did use up our non-target monster banish, so it's not going to be usable again. Now the Albion is going to be setting up the Branded Banishment. If we move a card from the extra deck, the Quem could reborn from the grave, but ideally we want the Quem to reborn Mirror Jade. We're going to be using our Branded Banishment, Big Met with the Maxi, to reborn the Albion, then fuse with either side of the field by banishing. Because it does not send to the graveyard for the fusion summon, it does not work out that well with Quem. So we're actually getting rid of the Quem for Masquerade. At 3,900 life points, any card effect activation will result in minus 600 life. Can we afford it? Minus 600 Keck W. Harpy Feather Duster to, like 600 life for that? Was that worth it? To battle we go on the attack, banishing the Masquerade face down as we have the Mercurier negating. Does not destroy, does not banish, just negate. The attack will go through. And I think I thank you for putting my Albion in the graveyard, which will search during the end phase. Obsidian banishing to special summon a Starfrost from the hand here, which allows us to special summon the Meek. Both, the Meek not activating. Vicious Astral Loud on summon. Pop a card on the field, taking out the Masquerade. Fenrir's going to be searching for a Scareclaw Kashtira. Again, we're in main phase 2 here. Into Vsauce Amortira, searching for any spell or trap that mentions Vsauce, which is like pretty much all of them. We have the Mannadium field spell, grabbing our Vsauce Starfrost, which we did not activate the effect yet to summon itself in the hand. We are reborning from the graveyard because Vsauce Amortira is a Starfrost on the field. Making Nightmare Unicorn on summon, discard a card, spin a card in the field back into the deck. Because the Mirror Jade was spun back into a private knowledge area, it does not activate to wipe the field. So if you banish a face down is private knowledge. Banish it or send it back to the extra deck, private knowledge, it's not going to activate. Which it used to activate years ago. I think before the card even existed, it would have activated under older rules. Swinging in onto Astral Loud to activate the secret effect of the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. When destroyed, destroy all special summon monsters on the field. The opponents only, that is. Lethal damage! Damn! Very well done, Milk, Master, and Marad. Thank you to both of you for a great game 1. Let's take this into game 2. Is this same duel? Same duel? Did I mess this up? Marad 1? Is this different? Is it different? It's different. It just looks the same. Okay. generally when you summon the Vicious Astrolaud, always prioritize, obviously you have to banish the Vsauce, but prioritize banishing the Reinhardt because it's light. You want Reinhardt in the graveyard to reborn for the light and dark Chaos Angel. Obsidian special summon from the hand, making the Vsauce Amatera, which will give us the reframing to Omni negate anything but Super Poly. Pop the light. What was that? Like, that was like, actually, I don't want you here. Okay. Actually, Masquerena could not be summoned with the Link monster. So we summoned it, and then we said, I can't make Masquerena. So we popped it, and then we made Masquerena. Interesting. So we got some disruptions here. We have negate, destroy a monster, unaffected from monster effects, link off during the opponent's turn, but Super Poly is going to put most of that to an end. Reframing requires you to have a synchro monster in the field in order to activate. It looks just like game one, but it's different. This is not game one. It's a different game. Same thing's happening. It's different. We're gonna reframe, which will activate in the graveyard to destroy the field, which the Baron de Fleur can negate. Are we negating? Instead of negating, yeah, you should negate. You should negate. I was like, you could Masquerena, Chain Elf, and then just use the whole field for an Apollo USA, but why not just negate? Because you would use the Baron de Fleur for the Apollo USA. Okay, let's go. Now, a different play could have been made here. And tell me if you think this would have been better. Baron de Fleur negates the Starving Venom, Chain Masquerena, Chain Elf, Reborn, make Apollo USA, Apollo, negate Starving Venom, then we still have a reframing. Now we don't have Baron, we don't have reframing. Would that have been better? Okay, come forth Meek. Oh, it was draw phase, he could not. Oh boy, good, very well done. Play around the Elf, Super Poly in the draw phase, let's go. Come to me, Kit. Masquerena get linking off into the Apollo USA triple monster negate. We could have made it 4 if we wanted to, but they're taking control of our Baron de Fleur. Not activating because it would just be negated. Main phase 2, pop the field spell, but we have to give back Baron, and we're under max C. Ash negate the Kit. We're not falling for that again, even though... would it have been better? Kit has to return a card back to the hand. They lose Branded Red. They have Branded Fusion. You negate the effect of Branded Fusion. They have nothing in the hand. I feel like that would have been better. And okay, so ruling. How do I know if I take control of a monster if I could use its effects that the opponent already activated? So understand this. If it is a soft once per turn negate, it's tied to the card. So if it says something like once while face up or once per turn, it's tied to the card. So if you take control of the card and already activated, you cannot activate again. But if it says you could only activate this monster's effect once per turn, that is tied to the player. So if, let's say, I think, where's Borreload here? Let's bring that up real quick. Borreload. Borreload says you can only use the effect of Borreload once per turn. So if I negate with Borreload, then you take control of my Borreload. You could then negate with Borreload because only I negated once. We both can only negate with Borreload once per turn with the same card. But the Baron de Fleur cannot negate again. So Borreload and Baron, different with taking control. Baron de Fleur, standby phase, not returning back into the extra deck. Banishing for the Astrolaud play here on summon. Get poppin', take out that Kit. 67, 75, 50. Lethal damage with the Max C. Ain't no way. Scooping before the Max C attack. I think that's a DQ. Yeah, Murad, that's not cool. Not cool. Opening in the main phase, where if we were to summon an Alibur, we would get drolled, which is not too big of a deal against, as a branded player, but it's still something you probably want to play around just doing it in the draw phase. Super Poly with the Albaz giving you more options. Harpy Feather Duster forcing out our branded in red play. And Super Poly. This is kind of interesting. What the heck are we doing here? Fuse with the field, making our Masquerade. Okay. And we're adding from the grave. We're not going to actually fuse with it. Yes, we are. Banishing the Masquerade to make a Masquerade, triggering Libitum to summon the Masquerade back, right? No, yeah, okay. It doesn't work if it's not fusion summoned, so it's not that good. Is there a better play? Coritis instead, and then Reborn Coritis maybe? Burning for 600 on every activation. Burn, burn, burn. Minus 600, searching with the Rhymeheart, summoning the Scareclaw Kashtira. Harpy Feather Duster is a great card against Branded. Why should you play Harpy Feather Duster, though? If you play Thrust. If you play Thrust, play Harpy Feather Duster. Why not? Pop the ball. 1 pop equal 2 balls. With the field spell, it's going to summon one from the graveyard, the other from the deck. And let's get to it. Let's speed this up as the Lightheart searches for the Scareclaw field spell. Branded defeated Super Heavy Samurai, and Mannadium is defeating Branded. Is this just random luck, or is Mannadium potentially the best deck in the game? It is able to play cards like Droplet. It has Reframing. It's able to play Crossout and Called By. It's similar to Super Heavy Samurai in so many ways, but allows you to play more techs. We have Sprite Elf. It's Maxi. It's just the Maxi. Okay, like I'm trying to pretend like Master Duel is more than just Maxi, and I don't know what to do besides putting the chat in emo only mode. Masquerina, let's go. Dissipator is going to negate the Masquerade from the graveyard attempting to summon. Ain't gonna happen. We still have Baron de Floor with our Omni Negate. Quem is going to be negated by Droplet, sending the Starfrost. You're not going to be able to send from the deck, nor are you going to be able to Reborn from the graveyard. We are also going to Masquerina on the lower chain link, higher chain link Elf, Reborn from the graveyard. Use the Elf and the Reborn monster to make an Apollo USA. Yeah. Maxi. Fusion deploy. We just have DD Crow, which if we all in the branded fusion play of sending an Albaz plus Lubellion, we do lose to the DD Crow. Come forth and summon into our Gangrenal. Gangrenal sending a monster from the deck or action deck to the grave. That's going to be our Albion to search during the end phase. We are sending... No way! We are searching 5 Rainbow Magician. Searching it. Send it from the deck to the grave. Search it because we're going to put it on the field. Oh my gosh. We have to DD Crow it. We have to DD Crow it. We can't DD Crow anything else. That triggers the 5 Rainbow Magician. You have to play DD Crow to stop this. It states that the Super Heavy Samurai player cannot activate any monsters on the field nor attack because they have to set spell or traps into their back row in order to activate, which they don't play. Maximus banish, come forth and summon, send 2 extra deck monsters to the great. Yeah, we're scooping anyway. Even DD Crowing the 5 Rainbow was not enough. Wow. 5 Rainbow and Branded, I think, is mandatory. Just at least 1. You have to play it. You got to. Let's see. No hand traps, but we got the Super Poly, so let's speed this up. This is the 1-card combo. 1 wagon is full power, full combo. And let's go. So I think this combo is a little undercooked here, but we have Baron de Floor and Borload, just 2 negates. That's it. What happened to like an Apollo? No, nothing. And we're not playing the Ballista. And Clifford Genius search for a Therion. What's going on? What happened? I'd have to rewatch that. I was just expecting that we would just wham bam thank you ma'am. Using Baron to floor and Borreload into what? Into a Dragon Knight. That's right. Dragon Synchro plus a warrior monster. What the hell are you? What is this? Once per turn, you can target one Dragon Synchro in the graveyard. Banish that target. If you do until the end phase, this card's name becomes that monster's and replace this effect with that monster's original effects. While this card is in attack position, your opponent takes any effect damage you would have taken from their card effects instead. Huh? Just fuse with their Borreload and Baron. Did we just copy Excel Synchro Stardust? Huh? Okay. Does that do... That does nothing. We can't do anything with that. Unfortunately, Baron to floor is not a Dragon Synchro. Otherwise, copying the Baron to floor would be great. Making the Albion. Get Fusion Summoning. Into our Mirror Jade. Back to Super Heavy Samurai. Allowed another turn to cook. Searching for the Soul Piercer with the Benki on the normal summon of the Piercer before the Link. We're going to be banishing off the field. We still have a Pendulum Shokan play. Wagon could search for anything. Searching for nothing because Super Poly is going to be fusing both monsters for a Garura. Super Polymerization, making the Dragon Knight. And 5 Rainbow Branded Dio was ready specifically for the Super Heavy Samurai matchup. That's the way. That's the play. Super Poly making the Dragon Knight. I believe people were doing that against Adamancipator too, right? Adamancipator was making Baron to floor and Borreload. Very well done. 2-0 victory playing anti-Super Heavy Samurai cards. No hand traps. Oh, well, okay, never mind. Imperm. When we imperm Alubur. Unless they have a Cartesia on the field to dodge the impermanence. Or if they have a branded loss to protect their fusion summon monster from impermanence. Those are going to be the ways to out it. Imperming the Quem, sending an Albaz monster from the deck to the graveyard, or an Albaz card, anything. Do we have Retribution in the grave? I'm trying to click on the graveyard here. Retribution would have been adding the branded fusion, which the Quem wanted to send. So the impermanence did stop branded fusion from being added. Great impermanence. Retribution recycling it, and no more. So what we need here is we need a Serenir. Serenir needs to go to the graveyard to grab the branded fusion. Entis, you sent my Entis to the graveyard. I'm triggering its effect. I'm popping a card in the field. We also have the Fossil Fusion. Fossil Machine is going to be able to pop a back row card. Can take out your Super Polymerization. So the Maximus being used against you. We have branded fusion here, but you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn after using the effect of Maximus. Titan Clad summoning an Albaz from the deck. You know, not ideal. Ideally, it would be a Quem. Maybe we only play one Quem though. Using the Fossil Machine, going for the branded fusion. Reborning the Quem, and then potentially fusing with the Albaz. That is exactly what we're doing. Maximus and Albaz for an Albion. But do we have another Albaz? Because we banished it. Yes, Albion in the graveyard is an Albaz that we could banish to make a Lubellion or go right into the Mirror Jade. Triggering the Quem, and the Albion Quem is going to reborn an Albaz or a card that mentions it from the graveyard. First making our Mirror Jade. And then we are... Oh, no, correction. Quem was sending from the deck to the grave, not reborning. Big Welcome Labrynth is going to summon a monster from the deck, then return it back to our hand. We are going to be maxing it. The Big Welcome's not turning into a lovely disruption play. This is just a normal summon to Ariana. Adding back the Chandelier. Ariana searching our deck here. Now... the Super Poly is making it so we could activate our monster effects. As long as we have that set Super Poly that we're not allowed to activate, we are allowed to attack, we are allowed to activate our monster effects. So we are pinned down with the Super Poly, but we could use Lovely. We could also use the Labrynth. Labrynth with Welcome Labrynth or Big Welcome can destroy the Super Polymerization, and then we can't activate the branded fusion because the monsters we summon will not be able to activate. So I'm curious if within the standby phase, do we deal with the Super Poly, but then they just drew another one to set it, then to activate the Branded Fusion? What do we do? Rebellion, sent, wow. No faith in your 5 rainbow? Not even trying? Okay. Let's go into game number 2. Begin. Great turn 1 from Labrynth, setting Gozen match, which will lock Branded into Dark Monsters only. Chain the Maxi, not flipping up the Gozen, but maybe now we will, because the Maxi is going to get called by the Graved, now locking you into Dark Monsters only. We are activating our own Maxi before negating the opponent's Maxi. Makes sense. Now, Dark only. We could summon Lubellion, Lubellion into Mirror Jade, Dark into Dark, into Dark. Titanclad. Wait, Lubellion's a light. Correction. It sends a Dark, but it is a light, so that's not a valid play. You could Albion into Mirror Jade, though. Albion, banish from Mirror Jade, and then, yeah. We're gonna go Titanclad Beatdown instead. Or 1,000 attack. Super Poly in the battle phase. Ain't no way are we lethaling 2-0 victory, taking out the Gozen match just like that. Having to deal with the 5 Rainbow Magician into the Gozen match, 2-0. Damn. Abelmod had the play in his head. He knew the way. He had that lethal damage all the way. Let's go. Let's go. Begin. Pressure, Planet grabbing our Fenrir, maxing preemptively. We are not going to respect the Gamma. We're going to look at that hand, returning the Branded opening back into the deck. Following up with the Scareclaw Search, come to me. And yeah, you know, we got max seed, so we just do nothing. Droll Knockbird is not good against Branded. We have Fusion Deployment, getting our Katisha onto the field to play around Impermanence or Veiler, so the Alibur is not going to be negated. Even our Fusion Summon monster, Albion, could get Impermed or Veilered here, but the Cartesia would fuse with it instead. Banishing Lubellion. I guess we're going in for game. We change up our plays if it's going for game. 3,700 Titanclad, 9,500 damage. Droll and Lockbird is not enough to stop Branded. Lethal damage. Yeah. You could Droll Super Heavy. You could Droll Mannadium. You could even Droll Purely, but you are not Drolling Branded. We are going to be Droll and Lockbirding the Fenrir ad. Rykar adds nothing. End the turn. Reframing does nothing. We have Max C and Fenrir as our only plays. Now, if Droll is not that effective against Branded, that means you could use Droll to stop Max C and keep on making plays. Max C the opening. We do not have to special summon it. We can now add it to our hand instead. You don't tell them until on resolution what you do. Grabbing that Alibur as expected. Alibur could now be banished with the Fenrir, but that's not a great play. We could banish the Mirror Jade on summon, or the Albion could not be targeted by Fenrir. Take out the Fenrir, big enough to wipe out the Rykart, and let's get to it. Nadir Servant sending Garura, adding Maximus, but do we want to play under the Max C? Do we want to do more plays? I don't think so. Setting up with the Fusion Deployment to get fusing during the opponent's turn. We're going to banish the Garura, summon the Maximus. Even under Maxi, we keep on cooking. Does Titanclad special summon under Maxi? I mean, it does, but do we do it? Are we actually going to do it? Triggering the effect of the 5 Rainbow to play itself into the Pendulum Scale. Titanclad, adding the Albaz, not summoning a Quem. I think it was the right play. Now, with the Retribution, we can negate an effect to special summon. Yup. And we can copy Branded Fusion, which cannot be ashed. We really want to get a Synchro on the field. Negating the Vsauce with the Retribution. It is a hard once per turn. We cannot use the other Vsauce to summon. So how do you get Vsauce out now? You need Reinhardt. Reinhardt needs to grab Abscission. Abscission needs to special summon Starfrost from the hand. We are going to use the Sanctifier in response to the Reinhardt to special summon in Albaz onto our field. To then discard and fuse with the Reinhardt, maybe? Reinhardt grab Obsidian, Meek special summon from the deck, discard to get fusion. Reframing dead until we get a synchro out. Using with the Reinhardt, making the Albion. Now it's going to make getting a synchro out a little bit more difficult, but we got the Obsidian to make play. There we go, as I said. Albion, keep on the fuse, but the draw in Lockbird is going to negate the effect of Obsidian being able to add. Is Obsidian even activatable just to get it in the graveyard to summon our Starfrost? Let's read it. Target, destroy. If you do, add from your deck. Can't activate it. Illegal. And we just want it in the grave. How do we get in the grave? We, barricade blocker, right? Barricade blocker? Nope. Mirror Jade banishing the cross sheet before the summon of our Astrolaud. Come forth, Astrolaud on summon, popping a card in the field. We need the reframing to actually be set to even activate our monster effects or to be able to attack due to the 5 rainbow. Now, because of our own 5 rainbow, we can't use the fusion duplication that well. The Branded Sword's going to add back a banished Albaz monster. It's a great way to recycle your Mercurier. Back to you. Dark Ruler No More, a great card against Super Heavy Samurai, but not really that good against everything else. Making our Gangrel. I mean, Branded's deck. He's got Super Poly Dragon Knight, Dark Ruler No More, 5 Rainbow Magician, all these cards to counter Super Heavy Samurai. Also loaded up to the brim with Droll and Lockbirds. Mirror Jade being reborn with the Quem from moving a card from the extra deck. Using the Retribution to add back a Branded in red in the graveyard to our hand. Mirror Jade with a non-target monster banished. The Reframing dead. Does not work with a fusion. You have to have a synchro on the field in order to negate it. Just like that, 10,000 damage with so much more that we could have done. A 2-0 victory, knocking out Mannadium like nothing. Branded Dio, 2-0'd Super Heavy Samurai, and then 2-0'd Mannadium. I don't know. I think Branded, when you fill it with the anti-Super Heavy Samurai cards, is actually probably the best deck. 60 card versus 60 card. Let's go. Grand finale, Branded versus Branded, and both Branded players have been clapping up Super Heavy Samurai and Mannadium back to back to back. They are main decking and even extra decking a lot of counter cards specific to those decks. But now, Branded versus Branded. Hajime. Aluber searching. We do have Maxi and a Magna Hut. Magna Hut is good to counter Lubellion or an Albaz in the graveyard here. Using the Branded Fusion, being met with a Maxi as the Called by the Grave will negate by fingering the sea. You will not be drawing per special summon. Now, what we have to be careful about here is if we make an Albion Fusion, it makes us susceptible to the Bestial banishing the Albaz. We have to make a Lubellion instead. And we do. We're actually going to make a Rinbrum. Rinbrum instead of Lubellion. So as long as we didn't make the Albion, we do not lose to the Bestial. By banishing the Mercurier, we get to add an Albion. So the question is, when do we know to make a Rinbrum? I would say if you have a way to banish the Mercurier, that is going to be when you would want to do so. Serenir sending from the deck to the graveyard our Retribution, which could recycle a Branded Spell or Trap into the grave. Albion sending a Branded Spell and Trap that we want to add from the grave back to the hand, which will be our Branded in white. This is where you chain your Bestial to the Branded in white. I think we probably should have waited for the activation. Now that's making our Thrust activatable as we're adding our Fusion deployment. Fusion deploying onto the field by revealing an Albion to summon our Albaz to now fuse with your Magna Hut. Thank you very much. Every turn 1 of Branded is different every freaking game. I've never seen all of this happening. I've seen, this happening, but not in this order. Fusion Shokan into the Gangrenal. Gangrenal send a monster from the deck or actually back to the grave, which will be the Albion to set up a Branded Spell or Trap during the end phase. You could even toggle on, add it to the hand, and activate it like an opening to summon a Quem during the end phase. And we now have Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade is going to be negated by the Rinbrum. We could then return back to our hand our Lubellion if we want to. Now, the Mirror Jade is a soft per 2 turns, no longer going to be stopped from activating during the next turn because we negated. And there's the Titanclad summoning the Quem. We're not done. We still have Albion setting up the banishment. Now let's talk about this field. Add back, okay. And, okay, searching for the Albion. We're not done. We're still not done. We're going to be adding back the Mercurier. There's a lot of disruptions to talk about here. Okay. We have non-target monster banish, which is activatable because we negated it with the Rinbrum. We have the Rinbrum in response to an extra deck monster activating. We can negate, then return a monster on the field back to the hand. We have pop any card on the field with the Boardload Furious. We have Quem, which could reborn Albaz from the graveyard or the Mirror Jade if it goes into the graveyard. So that's another disruption. We have the Mercurier for a monster negate. We have the Branded Banishment, which could fuse with either side of the field and reborn a monster from the graveyard. So that's about 6 disruptions we have to play through. And a very important part of this is if we ever fusion summon, in response to the fusion summon is a window where the opponent cannot respond. That's where we could activate Boarload. We could activate our Mirror Jade, and the opponent could not respond with Mercurier. Now it's Branded Lost versus Branded Lost. That's gonna get a bit crazy. Let's go. Albion sending a banishment from the deck to get that draw. Normal summoning a Tragedy here. Tragedy is going to be banished with the Mercurier, triggering to grab an Alibur that we want to normal summon that we can't. And that was it for the crazy duel. Crazy! We couldn't do anything. What were we trying to do? We just scoop. Just scoop. Just scoop it up. Not much we could do. Now we are going to have Branded Dio go first and hopefully put up something as crazy as that turn 1 we witnessed. Fusion deployment versus no hand traps in sight. Lost will search a Mercurier for a monster negate. Banishment will reborn the Mirror Jade for a non-target monster banish. The Dragostapelia will be able to negate a monster on the field. So, you know, we have about triple disruption here. The Cartesia, Albaz, can that really turn into something crazy here? I guess we could also set up an Albaz. Pretty much, Albaz could fuse the opponent's field. It's about 4 disruptions. Let's go. Grass looking green, still milling a decent sized amount of cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Mill 7 is pretty damn good. Albaz attempting to fuse with the opposing field. We're going to be using up our Dragostapelia with 3 more disruptions left. Negate. Place the token, continuous effect negates it. Ooh, we got the Lenatus Contact Fusion. You know it with Cyber Dragon and an extra deck monster in the extra zone, but with the Albaz and any amount of dragons on the field, you could send all of them to the grave for the Lenatus. Now, Lenatus itself is not that great. It's more so about the Contact Fusion. Grabbing a Harpy Feather Duster with the Thrust, we're going to start popping off right now. Sanctifier Dragon, triggering the Lost to grab a Mercurier, which is part of our disruptions here. We are going to reborn our Mirror Jade. Okay, giving the opponent a max C. So we still have Mirror Jade as part of the disruptions here. Mercurier, Mirror Jade, and Banishment. Activating Banishment in response to the Harpy Feather Duster, reborning the Albion to then fuse with either side of the field. This will be a nothing. Okay, we just have Mirror Jade and Mercurier. Activating Branded Fusion here. Now you may be thinking, negate Lubellion. How are you going to negate Lubellion if you put on the higher chain link the Tragedy you just sent from the graveyard by chain link blocking? We're negating the chain link block. No search for Tragedy, and time limit's not low, so this was a calculated answer to this play. We wanted to negate Tragedy. Now, because we activated Tragedy, we cannot activate the other effect to recycle a card in the graveyard with its effect. We are Lubellioning Shokan into our Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade versus Mirror Jade. Activate Mirror Jade and non-target monster banish. I will also activate mine. We are out of disruptions. Simplified game state as we banish the Lenatus and banish this non-targetable Sanctifier Dragon. Big enough to take out the Dragostapelia. Now let's start resolving things in the end phase. I should say the Albion setting up a banishment, Cartesia adding back to the hand. Now our cards will be activating, setting up our Retribution, which will negate the banishment, adding our own Cartesia back to our hand, and also our Branded in High Spirits. So we're pinning down that newly set card here, which we do. I think we have to get rid of our Mirror Jade to use it. We're going to be grabbing our Branded Opening. Branded Opening will get a Quem out onto the field here. Cartesia fusing with Mirror Jade will then reborn the Mirror Jade with the Quem. We're going to activate the Branded Retribution here to negate the Branded Banishment. Okay, returning the Albion. We did not have to return the Mirror Jade. So now we just have to Cartesia, Mirror Jade, reborn with Quem, and then I think it's over. Just like that, triple Material Fusion Shokan into the Despian Priscanian, triggering Quem to not reborn the Mirror Jade, instead summoning Kit. Kit, add back the Branded. I think we're just showing off here. Yeah, okay. Going into our Albion. Albion will then banish from the graveyard to summon our second copy of our Mirror Jade instead. Nope, we're going Titan Clad, even bigger. He's showing off. He's Branded Chill. Branded Dio, chill. We're going to be grabbing the Maximus from our deck, locking ourselves out of our extra deck here. Maximus come forth and summoned by banishing the Garura. We have over 12,000 damage here, wiping out the Max C. Goodbye, burning for 3,000 damage, making this over 15,000 damage we have on the field. Activating the Mirror Jade to wipe out the entire field during the end phase, but definitely we are not making it to that end phase. Burn for 3K, lethal with the Titan Clad. Going first wins. Possibly, maybe. Let's find out. I think Super Poly is a great equalizer if you're going second. But we're playing a 60-card deck. Starting off with our Fusion deployment to summon a Cartesia from the deck here. Activating the Fuse with our Nibiru, making the Gangrenal. Gangrenal will send a monster from our extra deck or deck to the graveyard, which will be Garura for the YOLO draw. We really need to draw into something good here. No, we did not. Cartesia add back during the end phase, set the newly drawn, or no, we drew into an Albaz, which we already had the called by to set. Fusion deploy of our own. We are, oh my gosh, this is bad. I mean, Branded knows to save Ash for a Branded Fusion, but we also know as a Branded player that Branded has a lot of plays outside of the Branded Fusion, so we are going to just play desperately. We're thinking, we know that if they have Branded Fusion, we lose anyway. Now, the Triple Tactics Thrust could directly add that Branded Fusion to our hand. This is a spicy situation. Negate. Get thrusted. Thrust the Branded Fusion, which could safely be used as the Ash has already been activated. Sending Albaz and Cartesia for an Albion, which does get countered by the Call by the Grave or a Bestial. So we're not out of this yet. Activate Albion, activate Called By into the Albaz. That is how it's done. To counter the Called By, you would summon a Lubellion instead. Did we get too greedy? Did we get too excited? Goodbye to Cartesia and the Tragedy making a Gangrenal. We have not committed to a normal summon yet. So we do get to search for an Alibur or Quem, which will be normal summoned. Gangrenal sending an additional monster here, sending the Serenir, which will send any Branded Spell or Trap from the deck to the grave, which Quem could send the other. The Retribution in our hand, we kind of want it in the grave instead. Branded Sword banishing to add back an Albaz monster. Now we can normal summon the Fallen Albaz instead of Quem if we wanted to fuse with the opponent's monster. As we are following up with the Branded High Spirits after using Quem to send an Albion from the deck to the grave. Adding our Mercurier, which is able to monster negate right here, right now. Quem is going to be reborning the Albaz after moving a card from the extra deck, using Albaz to discard the Retribution to fuse with the Gangrenal. If Gangrenal then activates in the graveyard in response to a monster effect summoning a monster, we could then use Mercurier to negate with an open field lethal damage. Is that it? Is it it? Oh my gosh! You got Called By. But maybe we wanted Retribution in the graveyard anyway, right? Called By on the other Albaz, negating the one on the fields. Uh-oh. Retribution recycling the banishment, telling me that there might be another turn to this duel. We still have the Mercurier. 2,500 defense, we can't get over it? Are you out of your damn mind? Oh my gosh. We can't break 2,500 defense. Titanclad is going to be adding an Albaz during the end phase here. Now, you fingered the opponent's Albaz, which then negates your own Albaz. Both Albazes, everyone's Albaz is negated. Get ready. Branded opening, discarding our negated Albaz. So we remembered. Attempting to search as the Mercurier negates because we control an Albion on the field. No search for you. Cartesia could be special summoned here because we have an Albaz on the grave. Activating the fuse with the Aliber, making our Quiritis, which could only reduce non-level 8 fusions to 0 attack. How much damage is this? Just 5k? Suiciding Gangrenol into Gangrenol. Quiritis dealing 2,500 over the Quem here. What? I have never seen that. Using the opponent's Albaz and their own dragon to make a Lenatus? What the heck was that? Why didn't we do that main phase 1? What the? Cartesia add back during the end phase as the Branded in High Spirits recycles itself back to the hand here. Albion searching or setting up a branded spell or trap. We don't really have disruption here. We don't really have anything. What the heck is going on? Branded lost into the Albaz, discard a fuse of the opponent's field, fusing with the Quiritis, which activates when it leaves the field to summon an Albaz and then fuse the opponent's field, but is completely disrupted and stopped by the Lost. Lost turns off the Quiritis from even being able to activate, so no Albaz summon, which the Ash could have negated. We're going to be using our own Albion and correctly putting the Albion on Chain Link 1, so our newly fusion monster also cannot be responded to. Banishment within this unrespondable window is going to be reborning a Quem from the graveyard. So Quem's activation could not be responded to after it triggers once this all resolves. Mirror Jade could also add to the unrespondable window to banish the opponent's monster. Double Quem trigger. Reborn from the grave, send from the deck, Mirror Jade banish. Nothing can be activated in response to this because it is in response to a fusion summon. Sending in Albion Shrouded Dragon, special summoning Mercurier, which is activatable on the field. It's a hand and field trap. Negate? Oh, why not? Why not negate, mate? Come on. Gangrenol summoning a Quem. I mean, the Mercurier is negated from negating now. Cartesia special summoning onto the field because we have an Albion Shrouded Dragon and an Albaz in the grave. The Albion is a special summon if the card you send to the grave is from the hand. So Albion could summon from the hand or grave by sending from the hands of the grave. Keeping that Mercurier on the field because it's big enough to take out the Aliber summoned. And just like that, despite Abomod going first, Branded Dio YouTube is inflicting lethal damage, winning the entire Branded Mirror match. Branded Dio YouTube with the anti-super heavy samurai deck, main decking, main extra decking, Draco Knight to fuse with the opponent's Baron to floor and Borreload Savage, playing 5 Rainbow Magician to send it from the deck to the grave with our Branded Fusion to then reset it back up onto the field, playing Droll and Lockbird, playing Dark Ruler No More, which specifically counters Super Heavy Samurai. Meta Weekly Top 16 Breakdown. Super Heavy Samurai, despite having the largest target on its back for the deck to stop with Droll and Lockbird, we're seeing people play Draco Knight. You'll know what that is in a bit. We're seeing people play Dark Ruler No More, specifically to counter the Super Heavy Samurai. And still it prevailed beyond all that to get into the top 16. But once it got into the top 16, that's when the hard counters really just kept it out of doing any, much better beyond the top 16. So let's start off with the deck list. We also have, Labrynth, Dino Morphia is a good deck I want to be looking at. Branded Despia is still clapping, doing very well. Let's do it. Starting off with Dino Morphia. Dino Morphia looking kind of like a Labrynth deck here, but it is definitely different. Unfortunately, we didn't really see it get to cook too much. The brand new triple intact, definitely a fun deck to be playing. I'm excited to be playing it. Very well done. Good job, Lost Control. And then we have Exo Sister. Double Raigeki Exo Sister is here. Any graveyard manipulation equals we clap you up, okay? Also, you know, the triple evenly match, which, oh my Jesus, within the tournament, the Sanctifier stop and the Martha and the evenly match, oh, that was insane. And then we have Ben likes to go first with their Makonko deck. I believe, yeah, he lost game 2, chose to go second, and yep, very well done, good job, no Kaiju. So instead of playing the Kaijus, we got the Maximus up in here. Very nice, good job, Ben. And we have Revelation. Is this a first turn kill version? No, anything crazy? Tunneler, not everyone's gonna be playing the Tunneler, but beyond that, it's looking super standard. Good job, Revelation. And then we have OGBG, the only one repping purely. Very nice, it's super standard, standard on standard. We got all our cards limited. 1 for 1, I think that's kind of new. Huh, 1 for 1-ing, okay. And Biggie Cheese with the Ignister. Where's MathMech? People don't want to play MathMech. They don't, I don't know. They'd rather play Ignister instead. Biggie Cheese, very well done. Believing that Ignister is better than MathMech, it probably is. And then we have Stellar with Mannadium. Anything too crazy about this Mannadium deck? It's looking quite standard to me. Maybe the Kashtira field spell is not being played in every version of the deck, but everything else is looking standard. Only 1 Droll for the Crossout Designate. Okay, let's keep on going. We then have Kid Art with Thunder Dragon. Always repping the Thunder Dragon. Always excited to see the new iteration, the new way to improve upon this deck. 40 cards clean. Looks good. And then we have Scar Black. This is with the Fire Attacker. You use Impulse from the hand to special summon the Fire Attacker from the deck. If they add a card from their deck to their hand, you then get to draw 2 discard, which is going to allow you to draw in a Maxi. Draw into your Droll and Lockbird, making these cards more consistent. Okay, anything crazy beyond that? Nope. We then have Morad 40 card branded. Someone was asking, how do you play 40 card branded? Well, this is how. And even fitting in Super Poly, I would think you would not have room, especially Maximus and Super Poly, these extra cards that you would think you would not have room for. Nadir Servant even. There is the extra deck for it, no Verte Anaconda. Okay, let's keep on going. And then we have more Super Heavy Samurai. This is with the Artifact Scythe version. Artifact Scythe, lock your opponent out of their extra deck. Beyond that, the deck is looking standard. And then we have Vodka for free. This is going to cause a lot of people to cry. First turn killing with Dark Strike Fighter and actually successfully doing so multiple times. In duels where, the question is first turn kill win more? I believe there were duels where, had we not Dark Strike Fighter on the first turn, that the opponent would have won on the next turn, especially taking the Maxi Challenge. Maxi Challenge, first turn killed under it. That's a big deal. And then, Yay with Mannadium. Okay, anything out of the norm here. Looking very similar to the other Mannadium deck here. And then we have Modar with the 5/5 rainbow just for the Super Heavy Samurai matchup. And it could sometimes just turn out to be really good against other matchups. You could use your Lovely to pop your opponent's back row if they're trying to use it to ensure that their monsters can activate or attack. Okay, looking good. 45 cards. Ooh, here's the extra deck. And then, second place, Abamod 60 card branded Despia. Gotta zoom all the way out. Here's gonna be the main deck here. We got Kurikara. What else is crazy? Harpy Feather Duster, Kurikara. We have room for the branded sword, triple branded in High Spirits. I've seen someone recommend a branded player to take them out. Are you out of your damn mind? We got the Daruma Cannon with our triple tactics thrust. There's so many things we could search for with this, including the fusion duplication. Now looking at the extra deck here. Not enough room for the Verte Anaconda. We do have the Garura with the triple Super Poly. Very well done. And now, for the first place deck, which is more teched out to beat Super Heavy Samurai. There's no Droll and Lockbird in this deck list, by the way. Where's the Droll? It is in this deck. Oh my gosh. Dio Brandon, you are disgusting. What the? triple Droll, triple 5 Rainbow Magician, and you could search it with Branded Fusion. You send it to the graveyard, then it plays onto the field. What else is in here? We have 1 Dark Ruler No More, which could be searched for with the Thrust, which is great against a Super Heavy Samurai deck. And we also have, with just 2 Super Polymerization, I'm surprised it's not 3, the Dragon Knight Draco, which could take a Baron to floor and a Dissipator, or a Baron to floor and a Barlord Savage Dragon, and fuse them together into the Dragon Knight. And there you go. That is the entire top 16. Thank you to all the players. We are out.